Okay, it's Thursday, November 4th, and I just wanted to go over another scalp trade I made. You can see here I made a Facebook trade earlier, which I described on the earlier video for a point. And then I just bought Moderna at 279.74 and sold it at 282.02 for a little over 2 point gain. And I just kind of wanted to explain that because I talked about Moderna earlier. Let me get it to the weekly chart on the earlier video where I was talking about how this stock is gapping much lower today and how I would never look to buy it, at least in the bigger picture, until the weekly chart begins to turn up, and that might take some time. So there's a lot of work that has to be done for this stock to turn around. So you're saying, well, why would you even consider buying it? But sometimes there's these opportunities price action wise for a pretty high probability scalp trade on these stocks that are down significantly on the day. And I just wanted to show you that. So again, on the daily chart, the stock is gapping down big. It was at 350 and now it's down to like the 280 area. And on the 15-minute chart, well, first of all, I just want to show you the support and resistance concept. Like this had support here at these lows, at this blue line around 290, the 294 area, let's say, and you don't know when it was gapping down. Was it just sometimes stocks, when they kind of come to a key level, they take out stops that are down there, sell stops, and then they bounce right back up, and it's kind of a false breakout lower. Or if it's moving up, it could be a false breakout higher and then reverse. So you didn't know if that might be the case early on. And when you look at the 15-minute chart, you can see here there was an attempt after it kind of gapped down, maybe took out a lot of sell stops that were there, moved it lower by selling. It did try to rally up, and maybe it was going to be a false breakout lower. But then the next 15-minute bar immediately turned red and started following through to the downside. So at that point, you pretty much you had good anticipation that you were heading lower and this was going to be a real breakout of that low. And obviously we went almost 15 points lower. But then down after it's moving down on the day, what I look for, and just to see if it develops, are 3 pushes down. And when I see that on the 15-minute chart, and I'll show you in a second on the 1-minute chart what I do, I might look to scalp it. And the question is how much of a bounce you're going to get on these trades. And that's something that's kind of hard to predict, but it's high probability that you're going to get some bounce. So anyway, this was one push down. If you can look here, if I could zoom it out, this was the first push down I considered on the chart very early in the day. Then it went up. Then if I zoom it back out a little bit, it came down for a second big push down. These were a big, just bars heading lower. And then we did pause for like 45 minutes. So that was kind of push number 2 over here. And then coming into here, this was push number 3 for almost 2 or 3 red bars, another 45 minutes. So I bought here at this blue line, and I was able to, I'll show you in a second, I had to withstand a little bit of chop, and then it moved up and I sold, and now it's moving higher. And I actually, the thing also with this particular stock, and when you follow certain stocks over and over again, I know Moderna, which has been in kind of a downward trend in the last few weeks, I do notice that their buying does come in. It's very volatile. People are still buying this for the long term, so you do expect bounces here, and not necessarily to continue lower all day long on these very weak days. But anyway, on the 1-minute chart, what happened was, this, if you can look at it here, this was the first push down, like I was showing on the 15-minute chart, rally. Then we came down here to this area for a second push down. Then we sort of made a rally attempt, a 1, 2, 3 push up. That's often very common, where it goes up the first one, comes down and tries again, but that doesn't really reverse the trend. And then we started making another push down, and that's where I bought it at this mid blue line right in here. Now, I had to withstand, if I look at it closely, when I bought it right around here, it did bounce for a second. So like Facebook, I thought maybe I hit the exact point. And again, you try to look for heavy volume coming in, which I, as a way to look at the spike, and a bunch of red bars in a row. And that's kind of the trigger to put in the buy signal. on the third push down. But in this case, it did rally for a second, but then I had to withstand a bit of chop, and I was comfortable with that. It wasn't too much in terms of risk at all, and eventually it did make its big push up, and I decided to exit here. And again, when these stocks make a big push up, it's not like it's immediately going to reverse the entire day's trend right away and just go straight up. Every once in a while that happens, but that's rare, especially on a stock that's in kind of a downtrend now. So it wasn't surprising to see this big volatile movement come back down. And I actually, given the fact that I think this might be the low of the day on the third push down, I'm not surprised to see it rallying a lot stronger. I was actually considering holding on or maybe selling half the position and holding on, but I just wanted to, it's afternoon, so I just wanted to take a scalp, a high probability scalp, and 2 points was nice for me. A lot of times it moves to the high of the second push, and that's sort of the target if you wanted to really hang in there where it's kind of right now. This was kind of the target area, and we see if it breaks through here, who knows, it might really head up much higher. But for now, that's all I wanted to do. But I wanted to point out the nature of these type of counter trend trades when they develop. It is rare that I take these because they're just scalp plays. But a lot of times I'll do it more in the afternoon, if I'm just looking around and browsing the charts and seeing a good opportunity.